Welcome, everybody. I'd like to call to order the July 7th meeting of our Parks and Recs Commission. Barbara, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Absolutely. Stand.
Thank you. Amari, will you call roll call, please?
Commissioner Elman? Here. Commissioner Maroney? Here. Commissioner Warner?
Here.
Vice Chair Tullis?
Here.
Chair Horowitz?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, Kaylin, I know Kaylin's here. We're going to do upcoming city events, please.
Thank you, Chair Horowitz. Just wait for the presentation to be queued up.
Thanks for your patience. We're just experiencing some technical difficulties.
Here we go.
You knew it would happen.
Okay. This month's permitted special events. First, we have JVA BVCA National Championships, and that's occurring July 7th through 11th. Next, we have Shakespeare by the Sea happening this week, and that's July 8th and 9th. Next, we have AAU Hermosa Beach Championships, which is July 13th to the 21st. After that, we have LA Galaxy Soccer Celebration, which is taking place July 14th and 15th, as well as 18th and 19th, and those are going to be showing the semifinals and the bronze in the finals of the, I'm not going to say the word, WC. And then AVP Junior National Championships is July 22nd through the 26th. And lastly, we have the International Surf Festival happening July 30th through August 2nd. Thank you. I'll pass it over to Recreation Manager Brian Sousa.
Thank you, Kaylin. Next slide, please. The city hosted excursions. This is a charter bus company which the city hires to use transport participants to excursion sites from the Hermosa Beach Community Center. For the month of July, upcoming this Thursday, we have, for this coming July, we have USS Iowa Battleship Tour and Lunch taking place on July 9th. For more information regarding our excursions, you can visit hermosabeach.gov/recreation. Next slide, please. Upcoming theater productions. For the month of July inside the community theater, we have Family Theater Incorporated, which is presenting Camp Rock Summer Camp from July 6th through July 17th. We have Angela Buttery presenting Divine Divas of Dance on July 19th. We have the Wonder Notes Summer Camp, which is taking place on July 20th through the 24th. And again, Family Theater for their second summer camp, Alice in Wonderland Jr. on July 27th through August 7th. And inside the Second Story Theater, we have April Fool's Comedy Improv, their monthly event on July 11th. Remo Vision Summer Camps taking place from July 14th through the 16th, 21st through the 23rd, and 28th through the 30th. And lastly, Remo Vision's monthly comedy night, which will take place on July 25th. For more information on all of our theaters and how to sign up for the theater summer camps, you can visit hermosabeach.gov/theater. And that ends our presentation.
Thank you, Kaylin. Thank you, Brian. Do any of the commissioners have any announcements regarding city events they'd like to share?
I went to the beach cleanup, and Lisa and some of the other team, Kaylin was there, and it was with Mayor Detoy, south of the pier, and it was really fun. I ended up getting about 3.5 pounds of trash up and down the street, cigarette butts, plastic. Someone even turned in a chair, like the back of a chair that someone had left. So it was a really good event, and people were very thankful that we were picking up things, and they were high-fiving us and telling us thank you. So thank you to the team and everyone who set that up.
A couple things. I think that's a good point. Mayor DeToy, I think, is having another event on July 25th, I believe, Saturday. But I also wanted to make you all aware of a meeting next Wednesday, July 15th. The Public Works Commission is meeting to discuss potential dry wells in the city. It's proposed for, at the moment, the Greenbelt and South Park. And I think there's an overlap between Parks and Rec and Public Works in this regard. So I just wanted to let everybody know about that meeting next Wednesday, the 15th. Anybody else? Good. Presentations. Amari, can you please introduce our first presentation?
Our first presentation is the Hermosa Beach Fine Arts Festival post-event presentation. We do have Sam, Mike Bell, and Janice Britton present for the presentation.
Hi, hi. I'm Sam Perotti. I'm president of the Arts Group of Hermosa Beach, and we produced the Hermosa Beach Fine Arts Festival. This year it was on June 13th and 14th. I'd like to first thank Lisa Nichols and her staff. Kim has really helped us a lot. And the Hermosa Beach Fine Arts Festival was held on the east lawn of the community center. I would also like to thank our board of directors. To put on any event, it's really a team effort. And everyone really worked hard this year. And in alphabetical order, Don Atkins, he's a photographer. He maintains our website and does social media. Robin Elatorre is a retired school teacher and artist. She, at one time, taught art at the middle school here in Hermosa Beach. And she's in charge of the student art program. And Jan Britton, she's here tonight, she helps organize the Friday night reception prior to our event, and works at the information booth during our event. Allison Cortine is an artist, and she's our treasurer. She designed our poster and postcard this year, and also does social media. Joanna Carell is an artist, and she designed our street banners. Lynn Logan is a teacher. She worked on the Friday night reception and also did a lot of work at the information booth. Katie Romero is an artist. She's our secretary. And the newest person on our board is Claire Rosenthal. She's going to be doing social media. And also Mike Bell, he's not on our board, but he has really helped us a lot over the years. And he does the setup and the tear down, contacts the water barricades people, gets involved with the street banners, and Signvertise, who installs and removes the banners. I'd also like to thank those who made donations this year. The Kiwanis Club gave us a donation, which was earmarked for the Student Art Program. Ryan Nowicki, his donation was earmarked for our scholarship program. And the Newman family, Greg Newman, gave us a donation. And Hermosa Cyclery, they donate a bicycle for us every year for a raffle. This year's event was similar to our previous events that we've had for the last 25 years or so. We had about 80 artists, pop-up tents. We rent the Olano Club parking lot for the artists to park, and this helps us reduce the parking demand at the community center. We have 3 booth spaces for the Student Art Program, and we award students by age groups. We select best artists in certain age groups, and they're from the middle school, and the artwork is really good for their age, and several people came by and wanted to purchase some of their work, but the students didn't want to sell them. We also have a crafts booth for young children. We fund 4 scholarships to Hermosa Beach High School students, 2 to Miracosta and 2 to Redondo High School. We, at the information booth, we give, or in general, even email, we give information to out-of-town artists, local hotels, local restaurants. And the feedback we've gotten is the artists really like the outside dining on Upper Pier Avenue. Some of the artists come from cities where they don't have that much outside dining. This year we had something new. We had to get a LA County Fire Department permit. The application, I worked on it, but Mike Bell helped me a lot on completing the application. They wanted specific information about generators and fire extinguishers, and I didn't even know what they were talking about, but Mike really helped us out, and we finished the application. One of the requirements that they mentioned was that we have a first aid kit at the information booth. And I thought, that's just common sense, we always have it. But on Saturday afternoon of our event, someone came over to the information booth and was in bleeding, and they had cut themselves a couple of days before, and somehow or another, the scab fell off and was bleeding, and we had some bandages and helped them out. The attendance was better this year than last year. The weather was a lot better. We had some expenses that we didn't have last year. We had a second street banner. We increased the amount of ads that we had in the Easy Reader and the Beach Reporter. And that, not only the printed ads, but digital ads on their websites, things like that. We also increased social media at Facebook and Instagram. And one thing that a cost that increased was the water barricades. It went from $1,400 last year to $1,900 this year. And that's unfortunate. Anyway, well, I don't know if any of you are responsible. Down the road, I'd like to see, I think, some permanent bollards like they have under the clock on the plaza along 11th Place there. And that way it would reduce the amount of water barricades we need. But also, when I see the cars come in there and park, I'm afraid they're going to jump the curb and go up on the lawn. And it's not just our event. I mean, there are kids always playing on that lawn. But anyway, I just had to get that off my chest. Did you have any questions or anything? Any of our expenses?
You can bring it back to the commission. Thank you, Sam. That was a great presentation.
Okay, I think Jan has something to say.
Okay, we may have questions for you, but Janice, come on up.
Jan Britton, member of the board, and this was our poster from this year, which you all saw. Every year we have a different artist, featured artist, do the poster, and then they also get their booth free. Yeah, every year is exciting for me because there's just such wonderful fine art, and we've kept the theme of fine artists. And we had so many new people, plus so many returning ones, and they did sell. We saw huge, big pieces that were costing thousands of dollars that walked out of there, and then little small things too. So the artists all seemed very happy and expressed interest to come back. I think the other featured thing is the last 2 years we've hosted a reception for the community and the artists in the museum. And this year we had more artists, and they just stayed and talked to each other because they really don't know each other either. And we had a lot more community people, so I hope next year that even increases more. So we do involve the other areas with the Alano Club, went there a lot, the museum. Also, the Boy Scouts have a popcorn booth, and that's their big fundraiser, and they love it. And what's nice about that is they also bring their parents, and their parents go shop for art. The donations we get really help our scholarship that we give to the high schools. Also, Kiwanis money goes strictly to Robin and the youth art book. She buys awards for them. Also, it helps support the free art booth that we have featured there. So it's always an exciting event. We had a lot more foot traffic, both local and out of towns. So that's pretty much it, unless you have any questions for me. Okay.
Thanks, Jen. We'll bring it back to the commission. Anybody have any comments for Sam or Jan? Or Mike?
Well, first of all, it was a great event, and there were a lot of new artists, and I thought that was great. I really enjoyed talking to them, and it was the tent with the kids' art. Sam, I was one of those people that wanted to buy one of those pieces of artwork, and that young man was not going to part with that picture, and I totally understand why. Yeah. I wanted to thank you. The creativity of renting out the Alano parking lot is really helpful, and I'm sure they appreciate it, and I know the city does, so thank you for that. Mm-hmm. You were talking about water barrels?
Yes. As in the event, we have to have the water barrels up there for safety. And this has been an issue we've talked about a lot. We have so much events there, and I would really recommend that we consider buying permanent ones and maybe decorate them as art pieces or something else, but the expense has gotten
so you're
big.
Talking about barriers, not barrels. I heard barrel, and I was trying to figure out what that was, the barriers. Okay, and we've discussed that.
I'm sorry, I don't pronounce my I's. I'm from New England, and I hope I said barricades, but, you know, a lot of times those artists,
Not a problem. I just want to be sure I understood. And again, the kids' art, it was nice to see people like Raphael and a lot of people from Resin that were there. The arts at every age is important, but the kids need to get a good start and a lot of support. So thank you for everything that you're doing.
Right. And we were very happy that this is one event Mike Bell still support. You know, we've lost so many of him for the city, and he's a major contributor. He runs the show for us and holds us together very much.
Everybody needs good support.
Mike?
Just in closing, I just wanted to say one thing about the barriers. We need them for the art show, we need them for the tree lot, we need them for the fiesta, we need them for the parade. You know, it's just something that we need and they're required, and it's just something to think about.
Thanks. Anybody else? I'm going to echo Barbara's sentiments that I love seeing some of the same artists come back and all the new artists. It was a really nice event. You guys do a nice job keeping it fine art and community building with the students and the scouts and the museum party, and it's really appreciated. You guys do a wonderful job. Thank you. Oh, sure, go ahead.
On the barricades question, I understand they're parallel to 11th Street, about in front of the curb. Is that where they are required to go?
Yeah, that whole barrier in front of PCH.
Oh, in front of PCH.
And part of Pier Avenue, we need them. But since they're portable, because they're water filled, we also need them all up and down the parade route during the year. We need them at Fiesta. Right. We need them again at the tree lot. And just in general, they're at the community center. They should probably be there year round. So.
Didn't, I guess, I thought for the parade or for Fiesta, I thought I heard the city acquired some or has some.
They acquired some, but not enough.
Ah, okay.
the barricades, the driveway at the community center, when it, you know, comes off 11th Place, our barricades go from there all the way up to PCH, along PCH, down Pier Avenue, all the way to the walkway. And, you know, like Mike was saying, I know people at the Kiwanis Club for the Christmas tree lot. I've talked about that too.
Great. Yeah, thanks for the clarification. I agree. It's a great event. I really enjoyed it. Happy to hear traffic was up this year.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you.
Amari, this brings us to public comment. Can you open it to public comment, please?
This is a time for members of the public to address the commission on items on and not on the agenda, but within the commission's jurisdiction. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes and will be taken in person and via Zoom. A reminder that if you address the commission on a discussion item, you will not be able to address the commission on the same item when it is heard at a later part of the meeting. First, we do have Kathy Welch.
Hi there. Thank you for taking our comments. My name is Kathy Welch, and I have lived in Hermosa Beach for almost 50 years, raised my kids here, and been a homeowner for about 45 years. I live right next to the Clark Building, and we, over the course of my time living there, I've walked the kids to school, the dogs to school, and have met some wonderful people at the Lawn Bowling Club. So that is what I'm here to talk about tonight, is lawn bowling. I know it's not on the agenda. But after so many years of walking by and getting to know people, my husband and I joined the club a couple years ago. And so the reason why I'm speaking today is just to talk about my concern about a recent post on social media by one of the council members saying that the Parks and Recreation Commission was reviewing this space to see what other uses, you know, what better uses that could be used for that space. I know in 1936, when there were 2 lawn bowling greens that were purchased by a council member at the time to be used exclusively for lawn bowling, and then in 1968, the city the Lawn Bowling Club was forced to surrender one of the greens, so we have been using just one of the greens since then. You know, it's a very active club. The greens are used literally every day. They have committed times when they're used, but then players also use the greens to practice on. So what is surprising to me is that the Lawn Bowling Club would even be considered for something else, because the city, as my understanding, has about 8 tennis courts, 2 basketball courts, 1 outside and 1 in the community center in a gymnasium. They have the pickleball courts, the skate park, the skate park, several parks. And so I'm concerned that it's being looked at for other uses. Lawn bowling is generally considered an older person's sport, and the other activities that I mentioned, such as basketball, skateboarding, pickleball, tennis, those are usually, considered younger sports. So I think lawn bowling is a great equalizer. It's a gentler kind of game. We do have a lot of younger people in their 30s to 50s that are members of the club, and they love it. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that. There's also some information that I saw on the budget that lawn bowling was being earmarked for between $500 to $2 million for repairs. I did bring that to the city manager, and he didn't know what that was about. So it just seemed like a large number. Plus, there's been a recent estimate for a new roof at $150,000. So I'm kind of wondering if those are maybe elevated pricing.
Thank you, Kathy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have Tom Welch.
So my name is Tom Welch, and I live at 854 Bard Street, so it's right in, Kathy's my wife. I'd also like to talk about the lawn bowling situation that's recently come up. I'm not an officer of the Lawn Bowling Club. I'm a member, and I enjoy playing on a regular basis. Lawn bowling allows members to be physically and socially active. It's a great activity for those with limited physical abilities. There are some members that this is one of their few opportunities to be both socially and physically active. It's not just an activity for our retirement community. There are many, as Kathy mentioned, there are many younger players who enjoy this international sport. Lawn bowling is extremely popular in Australia, the UK, South Africa, New Zealand, Belgium, Netherlands, and other countries. As leaders of the Parks and Recreation Department, I'm sure you can see how important lawn bowling is to the city. The Hermosa Beach Lawn Bowling Club has hosted numerous tournaments over the years, which brings in additional spending to our community. I believe that this little space that we have for lawn bowling is used efficiently and with little cost to the city to maintain, as the maintenance is voluntarily done by its members. I don't believe that there are any other recreation sites in the city where the members are the ones that keep the site up. It would be a shame to take this away from the club and to turn this area into something else, especially since there are plenty of other locations available for some of the activities that are being asked for, including a swimming pool. And I'm an active swimmer, so I know that there's lots of pools around, and I've taken advantage of many of them. And we have a big pool, solar heated pool, just right over here, a few blocks away. Swimming pools, as you know, are very expensive to maintain, and there's other talk about skateboarding park, which we already have one, and the dog park, which is one in Redondo. So if you're looking for vacant sites for some of these activities, take a look over the community center. I know that the community center building is being used for theater and that sort of thing, but there's parking lot there that is, you know, if they wanted to put a pool, that'd be a great place for a pool. So I would offer, you know, come and take, we offer free lessons at lawn bowling. Just come on over, take a free lesson like Kathy and I did 2 years ago, and you'll find yourself hooked on it. And you'll see what we're talking about. So thank you.
Thank you.
I got here a little late. Is it too late for me to add a personal one on this?
No, public speaking still open.
I didn't see anyone else's name up there, so.
Do we have any cards? Amari?
We don't have any more speaker cards
Okay,
here.
but yeah, no, you're still welcome to come.
Sorry, I filled this out on my lap, so it's not really the best handwriting. So I'm going to skip the beginning of my thing because they just covered part of that. So my name is Linda Perkis, and I bought my home here with my husband about 2+ years ago, not quite 2.5. We moved here from Playa del Rey, where we lived for 12 years. So I'm just kind of adding a personal note of how this helps the community and helps the citizens of Hermosa Beach. So I'll get through this without crying. So close to 4 years ago, my husband suffered a life-changing illness. He was not expected to survive, but he did, and thank God. He continues to recover to this day. The doctors at UCLA and Kaiser are all say he's a miracle, and they're still shocked every time we go into a meeting, into a doctor's appointment. So due to his illness, we moved to Hermosa Beach. We had been riding our bikes down here for years, coming down here for lunch and whatever, but we never moved because the commute for work added, 20, 30 minutes to get in that direction. So anyways, he was forced to retire. So due to his illness, we moved here. We bought our house. We sold our house there, bought a house here. We moved here because it's a very safe community. It's very walkable. We can walk everywhere we want to go. Grocery store, restaurants, the gym, and lawn bowling. So for a year after we moved here, we walked by lawn bowling, and I kept saying, this would be great for your recovery. This would be awesome. And he was like, I don't know. And then about a year into it, they were having an open house, and I was like, let's just go to the open house and see what it's all about. So we went. Today, he lawn bowls 4 days a week at a minimum. Usually it's 5 or 6 days a week. Each time he plays, he walks over a mile. He does numerous lunges and squats, and his social skills improve every time. And you can ask any of these people here. They all know. They've all seen it. So 3 of those days out of the week, he gets out of bed before 8 o'clock so he can get there on time. And I can tell you, I can guarantee you that he would not be getting out of bed that early if it wasn't for lawn bowling. He loves it. It's actually been like one of the most amazing parts of his recovery. And believe me, we've done everything. So without this club, I don't think he would be nearly as far along in his recovery as he is today. I'm very, very appreciative of the members of the club and how supportive and kind they've been since the day we walked in. So real quick, I'm running out of time, but if you read anything about longevity of life, you're going to always find being social, being active, and getting outside in the sunshine is very important. This club provides all of those and so much more. I haven't even touched on the things that this club has done for me personally. I think the City Council should be grateful to have a sport that is accessible for all ages and abilities. They should not be wasting your valuable time and resources discussing what to do with the property that already serves the community well. They should be thankful to have such an amazing sport in our neighborhood and asking how the city can help lawn bowling continue to grow and serve Hermosa Beach. That is the conversation worth having, not what else to do with the space. So thank you for your time. Sorry I went over.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you for sharing that.
All right, thank you.
Moving on to virtual comment. Seeing no hands raised.
Okay, if there's no one else in chambers and there's no virtual comment, we'll close public comment and bring it to commissioner comments.
I was just trying to figure out what is going on with the lawn bowling facility. I think it was on the CIP project list for $130,000 roof, and then it wasn't there, and now the council is discussing it, and I know went to legal. What's the update?
It'll be on our August commission agenda to review the operations, and the commission could provide feedback at that time about future uses for the space outside of just lawn bowling.
Is there a reason it went to the council? I guess I'm kind of
It
confused.
hasn't gone to the council yet. The review of the club's operations and feedback on future uses will be before the commission first, but it had to be reviewed by the legal team, and an agreement needs to be in place before any more discussions are made. So that agreement's earmarked for the consent calendar for the July council meeting to then allow us to have the discussion at our August meeting.
So it'll bounce back to us, and we'll look at the operation and everything.
Yeah, it was
that's-
always supposed to be before the commission, before city council, but the legal matter had to be addressed first.
Got it.
And that caused the delay.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just follow up on that topic? I noticed there is a future city council agenda item for some agreement between the city and the law. Can you elaborate any on the scope of that agreement?
I can't speak to it. The council agenda staff report's not finalized. The agreement's not finalized, and the negotiations aren't finalized. So I will be able to speak to it once the staff report's published for the public. But it would be just an agreement to formally adopt the practices that are in place now for about a year, likely. And then it would be an annual agreement from that time forward that would need to be reviewed for future years.
Okay. But that agreement is going to the city council,
It goes
right?
straight to city council.
Okay, okay.
But we will have lawn bowling on our agenda on August 4th.
Correct, after an agreement's in place, because we can't begin those discussions at the commission level till we actually have a formal agreement.
Correct. Thank you. Any other commissioner comments? About anything else? Okay. Then we will move on to item 8, our consent calendar. Do any of the commissioners? Yes.
I did have a question about the minutes. Page 6 of the minutes contain a record of an action information item that I had raised and had one person to support. The minutes indicate that it failed, but my understanding is for an action item, only 2 supports are required. So I believe the minutes should say it carried, even though subsequently I know there was an issue that killed it. I believe the minutes should accurately reflect that it did carry.
You are correct. It should not note that it failed, even though we did send a memo to the commission that we could not advance this item. We will correct the minutes. So what the commission may do tonight is make a motion, and just for throwing it out there for commission consideration, to approve the minutes with the correction on that second future agenda item that the motion did carry.
Great, so I'll make that motion to approve the consent calendar items with the correction to the motion verdict for the item on page 6.
I'll second.
Voting is now open. Voting is now closed. Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you, Mari. Item 9, public hearings. We have none tonight, which leads us to item 10, matters for commissioner consideration. Kaylin, we'll bring it to you for our staff report, please.
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. I'll wait for the presentation to be pulled up. But this is staff's recommendation that the Commission consider A recommendation to City Council to consider approval of a new Impact Level 3 special event, the AAU Hermosa Beach Holiday Championships, for inclusion on the 2026 special events calendar, and consider allowing exception to the special events policy guide to allow simultaneous use of the north and south volleyball courts. Next slide. Staff received a formal application from AAU in June 2026 to host the AAU Hermosa Beach Holiday Championships on the north and south volleyball courts with impact to the beach tennis courts. The proposed event dates in November, including setup and teardown, are listed in the written staff report and on the slide before you. Staff had informed the Hermosa Beach Chamber of Commerce of this new event coming forward tonight, as this would occur the same weekend as their Hermosa for the Holidays event. Next slide. AAU has indicated on their application that the event footprint would impact the beach tennis courts, which is not noted on the event overview, so I did want to state that verbally. Staff is proposing to the commission to consider this request and provide a recommendation to City Council on whether to permit this or not. The beach tennis community has historically accommodated the relocation of their beach tennis courts for special events, but in recent years have experienced an increase in logistical challenges and infrastructure deterioration involving their courts. For these reasons, staff is proposing to the commission to consider having the event footprint reduced so that it does not impede the beach tennis court area. Next slide. Next slide. Staff would also like to propose to the commission and provide a recommendation to City Council on the contingent use of the south of the pier commercial zone volleyball courts on all times/dates proposed, with the exception of the times and dates city contract classes are taking place, in which applicable courts must be available during that use. Next slide. If approved, the event would generate an estimated $4,000 in revenue to the city, with parking and other fees to be determined at a later date. Also, if approved, staff would require an event notification within a 500-foot radius, continue coordination through city special events team, and ensure all public safety, access, and permitting requirements are met. Next slide. Staff is available for any questions you may have, and we have the event representatives from AAU here tonight as well to answer any event-related questions.
Thank you, Kaylin.
I have a quick question. When you said a kind of scaled down tournament, what does that look like? Does that look like less days, less space?
So they are requesting, on their application, they put in use of the north volleyball courts and the south volleyball courts with impact to the beach tennis courts. So for example, it's basically they're requesting to mirror their July date, which takes over the beach tennis courts, and they relocate the beach tennis courts to a different location of the beach. So basically what staff is proposing to the commission to consider is for AAU to reduce that footprint a bit so that it wouldn't impede on the beach tennis courts. So whether that's less volleyball courts or figuring out a different configuration, yes, just because with all the volleyball tournaments impacting beach tennis courts, especially in the summer.
Okay, but it doesn't mean less days or anything like that?
No.
It would be the same? Yeah.
Correct, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions from the commission? You want to bring up the, yeah.
Are we running contract classes in November on the south side of the pier?
So historically we have. We typically have had a few beach volleyball classes and camps that happen on Saturday and Sunday mornings, but our fall and winter brochure isn't fully completed yet. So I looked at last year's brochure and spoke with our recreation supervisor that oversees the contract class program, and she said that there are plans to have beach volleyball classes south of the pier Saturday and Sunday morning.
So can we accommodate them by moving them? If we give AAU the south space, are we still going to be able to accommodate the contract classes?
That's what we're proposing. So basically we would ask AAU to not hold games on the dates and times that contract classes are occurring, which is usually Saturday and Sunday mornings. But we won't know until the brochure is done, which is going to be pretty soon here.
It would also depend on how many participants are signed up. So it could be that we just need, up to 6 courts, and that AAU can utilize any of the temporary courts on the south side. We just need to ensure that we have enough to accommodate the signups that we get. Last year, this time frame, the classes actually were canceled. So it's really just to be determined at this point, but we'd like the commission to consider a recommendation to ensure that we can hold our contract classes and acquire the number of courts we need to accommodate all participants in them.
And what were the hours for the contract classes? Are they just a couple hours or?
They're a couple hours in the morning. It's typically like 9 to 11:30 or 11, depending on what the instructor's schedule, according to my memory.
And is it adults or children's?
Adult. They're
Just
long-standing. They've been going on for decades.
Okay. Thank you.
My question is, what are the beach tennis issues that we know they've been a stepchild about being physically moved, but what were the issues they've been having that they didn't have in the past?
Well, from my experience recently with, we've heard regarding SmackFest, just having to take the courts and put them back down. We've been hearing from beach tennis members that, some of the nets were damaged or the poles aren't installed properly, or, for the July tournaments, last year I believe that, or in recent years, they take down the beach tennis courts every single day, which does cause damage to the poles and the nets, and relocating them every single day for the month of July, has done some damage to their equipment. So that's why staff's proposing to not have the beach tennis courts impacted for this event, since they already go through a lot in July and June.
Okay, but right now we're talking about December.
November.
I'm sorry, November. But yeah. I don't want that to get lost, because that's been an answer to part of the problem we have in the summer, so we can come back and look at that. But I do think that if we can't run a program without damaging someone's equipment, then we're going to have to revisit that. And the agreement has always been that the person who's hosting the event had to be responsible for the beach tennis court movement and the daily, wherever, those courts were always moved to the same place.
So the policy states that event producers need to either leave at least 3 of the permanent courts in place, or they have to, if they need to remove all of the beach tennis courts, they have to provide temporary courts, and those are typically outside of the commercial zone because they're utilizing the whole commercial zone event footprint. So they have to take the courts down daily, and they're considered temporary courts outside of the commercial zone. So that's the need to remove them every day. And what has been another problem is when they're utilizing that entire space within the commercial zone, the event participants do tend to station themselves on the beach tennis courts area. So that's been a problem. So we've had to do fencing and signage and enforcement in that way. So we're just recommending that we allow the permanent courts to stay in place in the month of November. This is a new event that we're considering, and it's an opportunity for us to eliminate impacting any more the beach tennis community in another month.
Right. Okay. So, but now we know we have a problem. We're going to have to deal with that in the future for like what's going on right now in July.
We found a better solution this year that, we're still getting through the month of July with all 3 event producers, but so far so good. We have relocated some courts to the south side that are not considered temporary or have been able to stay in place.
Okay.
So that's been receiving positive feedback this far. But again, we're only in the first event of July, so we'll have to really come back and look at how the entire month went at the end.
All right, because I would really like to have that come back and at the end of when we are recovering from July and revisit, because I had no idea. I'm sure it was inconvenient, but I had no idea that it wasn't working well physically, except being an inconvenience.
We had certain events where it was working great and it was more successful. And so we've been working very closely with the beach community the past 2 summers, trying new things. And I think our efforts might have gotten us to a good spot this summer, and we can certainly give an update after July to the commission, because if this is the solution, this would be what we maintained in
Perfect.
future summers.
And then my only other question is, on the diagram, it shows 10 feet to the wall. That's not right. It should be 50 feet. What's the distance?
So within the special event policy guide, you can approve closer than 50 feet from the strand wall, but we ask all event producers also within the special event policy guide to ensure all tents are at least 10 feet from the strand wall and any temporary courts.
Okay. Something to think about.
Wait, can you say that again? It was my understanding in the special event guide that all tents had to be 50 feet from the strand wall.
No, it's just 10 feet. Tents have to be 10 feet from the strand wall.
Okay, I
The
thought,
50 feet from the strand is a municipal code for any permanent volleyball courts, is really why that was created. And the courts that aren't meeting that 50 feet minimum distance from the stand wall were considered grandfathered in when that code was adopted. But for events, you can allow temporary courts to be set up within that 50-foot distance. It does allow that in our policy guide. So when you approve an event with an event site plan, that doesn't indicate that temporary courts would be set up.
the courts can be set up, but what about like a pop-up tent?
That has to be 10 feet from the strand wall as well. So we want a 10 feet distance for all event setup.
I really thought it was 50 feet.
May I be recognized?
Sure.
I can clarify. I actually looked this up because I was curious too. HPMC 12.20.060, the use of beach for any game or organized athletic activity, not otherwise subject to a permit requirement or other approval by the city, is permitted as long as the playing activity or activity area is more than 50 feet from the strand wall. So that's what the code is all about, the playing activity, the playing area.
Okay, thank you. One last question. Does the fact that this is the beginning of Thanksgiving week impact this at all? In terms of the contract classes and the busyness of the beach with the kids being out of school and travelers and?
We don't foresee any impacts. We're just asking in case our contract classes don't cancel this year that we at least get a few courts to maintain those.
Okay. And you don't see any impact or conflict with Hermosa for the holidays and the tree lighting and all of that?
No, the beach is not part of that event footprint.
Okay. Sure.
Is this the time to ask the organizer questions or just staff?
Yeah, you can ask. We have Christine.
There's a presentation though.
Well,
Or
a verbal presentation,
Okay.
yeah. Or if you had
All
any
right.
questions.
I'll save till that verbal.
Yeah, well, you just want to do Q&A? Yeah, we can bring Christine up here to answer your guys' questions.
Yeah,
If you have-
I had a question for her, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mrs. Lennon, welcome.
I'm Christine Lennon. I am Denny Lennon's wife, who you're used to seeing up here, so thank you for having me. I've worked with the AAU for about, 30 years. I'm their national tournament director for their beach volleyball. So I've been on your beaches, on your wonderful beach, for the past, 25 years now. So it's been a good run. So thank you for having me again.
Do you want to tell us how you envision the event?
This event is going to be kind of a scaled down version of what our national event here is in July. We're hoping to grow the event to bring teams from around the country. So it's the college club championships. So for those of you that know what, it's not NCAA, so it's not the college sanctioned sport. It is the club teams that represent their universities. So similar to the club teams that many of our high school and middle school kids play for here, the same thing happens at the college level. Many of these athletes have come here and played on your beach here in our events and are now in college but aren't competing for their schools. So they've joined their college club teams to be able to come to be able to compete against other college club teams around the country. Only 64 club teams make it to their national championship, and there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of club teams around the country. And so we're providing an event for those teams who don't have kind of a post-season culminating event to go to. Did I answer the question?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, so
this is a postseason volleyball tournament. And what does that mean, postseason? Do they play during the I mean, does it have a significance somehow in their ratings or rankings or?
So it would be a culminating event for their season, kind of like our national championships are. So there's a beach season that runs throughout the spring and into the summer. And this is a culminating event that'll kind of end the season. So will it improve their rankings? I think I don't know that there's an official ranking for it, but it will provide a certain amount of clout to the teams who win.
Okay, and this is the first one nationwide, or do they have them in other places, these culminating postseason tournaments, or do you know?
I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
So is it men's club beach volleyball or women's or both or?
Right now it's women's club beach volleyball.
Okay, and on the application, there was no entry fee listed, or it said TBD. Is that any clarity on that?
This I do not have clarity with, but I do have Denny on the 1-800 number, but I think he's muted. If I can grab my cell phone, I can check on it. No?
I don't know if it's that critical. If it's not
Okay.
known, that's okay. And then, another thing, the attachment one, the court layout. There were some duplicated court numbers and stuff on there. I don't know if you can clarify how many courts you're actually seeking to create, but.
Similar to our national championships here, I would say our footprint right now is 56 courts, and it'll probably be similar to that.
Yeah, like 38, 39 is duplicated 3 times. So there's 4 more courts. There's 62 courts on the diagram.
Yeah, I think it'll be less than that. So this would represent more, and our footprint would probably be less.
Okay, and then do you have an idea of how many schools you're either hoping to get or planning to attend?
I think we're looking to get upwards of 200 teams, I believe, between 200 and 400 teams at the most.
And a collegiate team, I mean, my understanding of collegiate teams is it's kind of like tennis where there's 5 matches of different pairs together. So when you say 200 teams, that's like at least 10 athletes per team, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Maroney? Commissioner Alma? Where was this championship held previously?
This is our first year entering into this arena. As you know, we've done youth, high school, and below, so 8 to 18 up until now. So we're foraying into the collegiate club world. So until now, I don't know who has hosted this event.
And is Denny on the line? Do we want to unmute him and since he stayed up?
Yeah, I guess maybe just to also, it would be good to confirm that answer because 200 teams times 10 athletes is a lot more. It's like 2,000 people.
That is 2 times 10, 200 times 10.
Yeah.
Having heard the questions that we've been asking, are you willing to shrink the footprint? I mean, since this is a new event, I don't know how many commitments you have already from the athletes to come and participate, but something that you're...
Absolutely. I think we're used to kind of accommodating either the schedule or the courts and the timing in order to accommodate the athletes. Right now, with the athletes we have or with the timing we have, we're able to either put them in waves. So we have an AM wave and a PM wave. So although there might be 2,000 athletes, we might only have 500 on the beach at a time occupying those courts, and then that wave exits and we'll have another wave come in. So whether we change the timing of the event, the start and end times, so you might have an AM that goes 8 a.m. to noon and then a noon to 4
because your
group.
PM wave will be shorter as daylight savings will have already ended. Any luck with Denny? Okay.
Jenny, you can unmute.
I am unmuted.
Hi, Denny.
Hello?
We hear you.
Hi, everybody. Hello from China. I can answer a couple of those questions.
Okay, thank you.
One was actually the amount of participants would be lower. Official NCAA sanctioned events where universities or colleges play one another, those are, as one of the commission members noted, played by 3 to 5 teams going against it. So this, they would all enter as pairs. So it would be more of a traditional pairs tournament, so that the numbers reduces down to around 200 teams or so from each. And so it wouldn't be that particular format. It would be a pairs tournament. It's not unlike what we do with high school, where we do have the varsity team, play against each other in a 3-on-3, 3v3, but then all of the other kids enter as pairs, and those move much more quickly, and we're able to modify because we're pretty good. Well, especially my wife is very good at figuring out how we can use a certain amount of courts to accommodate whatever number of teams.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Denny?
Was there another question?
I don't. The numbers, the core numbers.
We did, Tenny, this is Commissioner Tullis. We did have a question on the number of courts requested, which there's some duplicated numbers. It looked like there's actually 62 courts on the diagram.
61.
61 courts on the diagram. Although there's some duplicated numbers, so it looks like there's only 58. I don't know if that, I didn't.
Correct. We're happy to come to the number that fits and then accommodate the program around that. So if that number comes down because we're saving room for the beach tennis courts to stay up and then accommodating any classes for a few hours in the morning, not a problem. So I would imagine we'll probably end up closer to 50 courts if we're considering that we're leaving the beach tennis courts up. And so we should be probably right inside of that now that those two things have come up. We'll be all right to do that. Again, we know how to adjust our format to our site.
Okay, and then there was one more question, was whether there's any update on the expected fee, I guess, for a 2-person team. On the application, it said TBD or wasn't listed.
Yes, and it is TBD. We want to set those accordingly. One of the good things, I think, for the city when we consider this is these would be students in college who want to continue to play but aren't at that level that they would be playing for the NCAA entry. And so we want them to be able to come out here and enjoy your city. So we're still evaluating what that'll be. It'll probably be in the neighborhood of $100 per player. And then, of course, they would be getting the AAU membership, which is only $20, but that provides all the insurance that's needed. So the idea is to encourage them to come enjoy the city, enjoy the Hermosa for the holidays, which I think can be a really win-win for everybody, help them build that event, and then, spend their money in your city.
Great, thank you, Denny. I'm going to pause it here unless there's more questions, and we'll open it for public comment.
Well, I guess a question really for Lisa and staff. I mean, based on what we've heard, I guess I'm not convinced this is a less than 500 spectator and participant event per day, which changes the calculus of fees and everything else. So how can we resolve that?
We could certainly work with the event producer to ensure that registration caps to where it would fall within the appropriate fee, daily fee. That's one of the options. I mean, I think that's the method, and we do our special event checks, and if it definitely looks as if it's exceeding, we charge the appropriate rate, the difference.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Everybody good? All right. Let's open it. Thank you, Christine. Hang out for a minute, and we'll open it for public comment. Amari.
This is the time for members of the public to address the commission on this item only. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. If you would like, for the record, please state your name and city of residency for the record. We will begin with members of the public wishing to provide comments in our chamber. Seeing no one, we will move over to virtual public comment. We do have Tony Higgins on the line.
Yeah, hello, Tony Higgins. I certainly have no problem with the youth volleyball or any of that, but I do have a question. In the staff report, it said that the city would be getting $4,000 in revenue. And it didn't say anything about the indirect costs, you know, the cost of preparing the staff report, processing things, because it's my understanding the city isn't really getting $4,000 in revenue. The event is supposed to be revenue neutral. You can't make a profit on it. And if that's in fact the case, I would appreciate someone saying that it's revenue neutral. The city is not making any money on this event. And I think that just needs to be clarified. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Higgins. Amari, is there anyone else online?
Seeing no other hands online.
Is there anyone in chambers who wishes to make a public comment on this item? Seeing no one, I will close public comment and bring it back to the commission for discussion and consideration of a motion. Tom.
AAU is among our best promoters. They know what they're doing. I'm sure they can accommodate what I expect would be our request, that they not interfere with beach tennis. I mean, we're really trying to get away from that, and that we accommodate the contract classes. I'm sure they can do both those things, and I'm absolutely fine with this event. It falls within our 15-day limit.
Thank you.
Like Tom, I have a lot of faith in Denny and his team. I did appreciate the fact that he understands it is the holidays, that we are going to have other people in town, but also the fact that we are going to be able to, per Denny, when I talked to him, work with the chamber and Hermosa for the holidays. And I think that it would be a nice change to see what we could do with volleyball on the beach during the holidays. Although the area will be busy, we'll have the big lighting, tree lighting. So maybe your marketing people could get creative. But I have faith in the team. I do really want to be sure that we are showing the respect to the beach tennis people. They have put up with a lot, and I'm very disappointed. There was a comment on Facebook about them being treated poorly by the visitors for some of the volleyball tournament. So I really would like to visit that and be sure that we are being good neighbors and good hosts. But I don't have a problem with this event. I think as long as we keep it within the size and scope, that it will work out very well at a different time of year. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Warner?
One of the first things I did was look up the dates, November 19th to November 23rd, and what the weather was like. And apparently it's pretty mild, and you can play volleyball, and occasionally there's rain, but it's rare. I think it's a good change to have a tournament in the fall and to have people here when the tourism season is kind of over. And it sounds like you're willing to be flexible with accommodating the classes. They may or may not happen. And you're also want to be respectful of the beach tennis people. So sounds like a positive event. And I'm willing to support it.
Well, it sounds like I will not have support for my motion I'd like to make a motion to recommend the City Council does not approve this event. I believe the volleyball courts that are open for the public at the pier are already being in use 5 out of 9 weekend days in the month of November, 3 of those days actually by AAU already. So we're adding 2 more. Now there's only 2 days 2 weekend days in the whole month of November that the public can use the courts. I think there's enough volleyball events going on, and regardless of the respect I have for AAU and how they put things together, 5 is as high as I'd be willing to go in a given month. So my motion is to not recommend for approval.
We have a motion. Is there a second for this motion? Hearing none, I will make my comments that I agree with the majority of the commissioners that AAU is a really good partner, and I think that we will all find a way to accommodate beach tennis, the contract classes, the public, and work together with the chamber to make this a good event, sticking with the parameters of the number of participants. So that's my opinion on that. Is there anyone who wants to make a different motion?
Well, I'm just going to make a motion to approve the new Impact Level 3 special event AAU Hermosa Beach Holiday Championship.
Do you want to add that they not to interfere with beach tennis?
Then, and I will add that we will not, yes, that we will not have any, they won't impact tennis, beach tennis, and that they will, what was the other thing we said?
Accommodate the,
And accommodate the contract classes when we have those dates.
yeah, I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
Would you like me to open to vote? Sorry.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. Voting is now open. Voting is now closed. Motion carried 4-1.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Christine. Thanks, Denny. Okay, we will move on to matters for commissioner consideration. Item 10B. I think this is Lisa.
It is.
Okay.
We'll cue up the presentation.
Thank you.
All right, so this item is consideration of updates to tennis membership and reservation rates. Next slide. The Parks and Recreation Department oversees 7 city-owned tennis courts. 6 of those courts are located at the community center and support resident reservations, drop-in play, city contract classes and camps, and private instruction. The other is the Kelly Tennis Court, and it's designated exclusively for drop-in play and is not available for reservations. So therefore, the fee increases recommended tonight apply only to the community center tennis courts. The current tennis membership and reservation fees have remained unchanged since 2020. Therefore, staff performed best practice research on local agencies and are recommending fee increases at market rates. A majority of recreation fees pertaining to resident usage of facilities should be set by the market on an annual basis, as shared even in the RCS fee study, and why our fees and our updates that we are bringing forward to the commission recently and will continue to in the coming months are being considered this way versus part of the fee study. Next slide. So as displayed in our best practice research, resident reservation fees generally range from $10 to $13 per hour, although the structure of annual membership requirements varies by city. So we are recommending an increase to the annual resident membership fee from $19 to $25, the hourly resident reservation fee from $9 to $12 per hour for the hours of 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., and what are considered lighted hours from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. $11 to $14, and we remain that time frame regardless of when the sun sets throughout the year. That has been historically our practice because of how the system's set up. It's difficult to change the time based on season, so just giving some background on those lighted hours and how they've operated. And informing these increases, we also considered the recent city council action increasing the pickleball fees. When we established the pickleball membership program and the rates, we mirrored the rates of the tennis courts. So therefore, now that the pickleball rates have been increased, we would mirror the tennis courts to the pickleball courts. So the fee updates you see on this slide is the same fees for the Kelly pickleball courts once they open, with the exception of the lighted hours because the courts would close at 7 p.m. daily, so the lighted hours would not apply to the pickleball courts. I wanted to note that I mentioned the city community center tennis courts support private instruction by pre-approved instructors, and that's outside of the contract class program. They operate independently. They're responsible for their own advertising, client recruitment, and scheduling of the courts. They currently pay a $30 annual membership fee and a $19 hourly court reservation fee, but tonight we are not recommending changes to the private instructor fees, only the resident fees, and that is because of our transition to REC, our new recreation software. It actually includes a program that accommodates private instruction in a different way. So therefore, if we do utilize that program within that new platform, we would bring a review of the private instruction portion of the policy and the fees that pertain to them separately, because we need to consider how that program will work first for staff. So next slide. Based on our current usage and reservation activity, the proposed fee increases are anticipated to generate approximately $1,200 in additional membership revenue and $14,500 in additional reservation revenue, for a total of an additional $15,700 to the general fund. And I want to be clear, because I don't feel like it was necessarily written as clearly in the staff report, that this is additional revenue to the revenue that we're already bringing in with the current rates. So with the current rates, we are bringing in $2,000 annually, and that's for memberships, and for reservations, approximately $30,000 annually. So this, what's noted in your staff report, that additional $1,200 for memberships and additional $14,500 would be with the fee increases. So this does conclude my presentation. I'm available for any questions that the commission has.
Thank you, Lisa. Any questions for staff?
I have a quick one. Have we ever considered what Manhattan Beach does to offer discounts for kids and elderly for the membership, for the annual membership?
We haven't. We've really, our membership's available to those 18 and over because they utilize the system and submit their payment through the online system. So we've always maintained it as a flat fee.
And what about what El Segundo has, that Rec ID card? Does that streamline things for you? Does it make it easier, something like that?
Not necessarily, because it's similar in a way to the membership requirement that gives them the access to the reservation system online. And that's the idea behind the Rec ID card. The difference between our membership program and the Rec ID card is that Rec ID card gives you access to reserving all facilities, where ours is more per facility.
Got it. Thank you.
You mentioned the membership program. Did you say the membership program for tennis started after the pickleball membership was?
No, tennis started first, and then we mirrored pickleball
with
tennis.
When pickleball started, we started tennis. Okay. Okay. And then, do you happen to know what portion of tennis members may also have a pickleball membership?
That's a great question. I don't have that data.
Okay. And then, in terms of the court usage today and the revenue, I do want to get this kind of clear, because I know I asked ahead of the meeting, I think you estimated like 55% usage. But if I do the math going backwards, 30K in reservation revenue, you say that's today's amount. If I call it $9.50 an hour, divide that by 950, that gets me to 3,200 hours of reservation time. But if I think about the maximum available time, we have 4 reservable courts, 14 hours a day. I call it 350 days a year. We have basically 20,000 total reservable hours per year. But it sounds like we're only actually getting 3,200 right now, minus some from that 20,000 for contract classes and private instructors, right? But it's only 30K revenue and reservations, so that would equate to about 3,200 hours of reserve time. Do you believe that's right, or?
I'd have to break down all the math, but the other thing to consider is the revenue that I have supplied in the email to the commission is also considering active net fees and everything. So the reports are a little bit harder for us to decipher. So based on the usage that I provided and the rates that I provided, it is eliminating a lot of those active fees for the next year and seeing the trends in reservations that we had thus far when we completed the budget.
Okay.
So I tried to consider our forecasting as well as what's been the case.
So maybe just for the sake of the debate here tonight, we can assume that the number of hours reserved in the courts is somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 a year. Is that right? Like, would you say that's accurate?
I don't have the active net report in front of me, so I can't give the total hours reserved. I would have.
Okay. Yeah.
Can't
Sorry.
easily bring that up.
Okay, but you did indicate in some other prior to the meeting some clarifying questions that the approximate revenue we get today from private instructor permits is about 30K, contract costs is about 35K. Okay.
And I would just say those are very rough numbers from the complicated active net
That's fine.
reporting. So what we would have to do really to confirm more numbers we were confident in that were more accurate is it would have required a more thorough review of purchase order backup and to our contract class program and breaking down each permit for the private instructor and because the way that the program lets us pull reports is by customer type. So general public also includes any internal reservations that we do for court cleaning or blocking out for any maintenance. So we had limited capability to get figures fast.
Okay, and then on the expenses side of the ledger, I think you mentioned again in some clarifying questions we had prior to the meeting that staff time spent administering the tennis programs and coordinating with instructors is about 11 or 12K a year.
Yeah, and that's also a rough estimate based on our breakdown that we did for council when they were considering the pickleball membership program. So those are the figures we broke down for pickleball. Okay. I do want to note that being right next to the tennis courts, that figure might be a little higher because we allow the private instructed and there's suspected unpermitted private instruction that we have to respond to. So I just wanted to also note that for the commission.
All right, thank you.
You lost me with a lot of that math. I'm a visual learner.
That's
but
right.
I think ultimately the conversation is, does the fee increase seem reasonable? I don't have any questions about it, but I think we need to open it up to public comment, and if everybody's okay with that, and then we can bring it back to the commission. Amari, please.
This is a time for members of the public to address the commission on this item only. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. If you would like, for the record, please state your name and city of residence. For the record, we begin with the members of the public wishing to provide comments in our chamber. Seeing no one, moving over to Zoom. No hands raised.
Okay, thanks, Amari. I will close public comment and bring it back to the commission for further discussion or a motion.
Well, I'm fine with this. In fact, I would have increased them more. It's been a long time coming. I realize we're technically not supposed to make money on this, but I do think that there is room for a little bit more of an increase, but I understand a lot of work went into this, so I'm fine with it the way it is.
Yeah, I think staff showed their work, and these seem like reasonable increases based on what's going around in the communities around us. And it also reflects what we did with pickleball, so, I mean, this seems good to me.
Someone want to make a motion?
May I be recognized?
Sure.
So it's pretty clear to me with the generous assumptions that I've made in my math and have been made here that even accounting for public works maintenance costs, right now we're clearing quite a lot of money out of the tennis program. I would estimate it at about $40K a year that we're clearing. And I think the fact that the courts are not maximally utilized, to me, says there's a risk that if you increase fees, that you might get less utilization. And I would like to think we'd find a way to increase the utilization of reservations to drive more revenue through things such as one membership for both pickleball and tennis, and you can reserve both. Or opening this tennis up at least to non-residents so that more people can reserve courts. And if we did that, seeing that our rates are lower than other cities, we might actually bump our usage rate up to something that materially increases our revenue. So it's that the big question for me is if we raise rates, will reservation rates go down or go up? And I think there are better options for increasing revenue associated with tennis and increasing the usage of the tennis courts by reservation than raising the fees.
Okay, thank you.
I also just wanted to add, just for informational purposes for the commission, that the council requested we come back to them after a 90-day period for the Kelly pickleball courts to report on the usage and any feedback we have received from the community regarding the courts and the policy and the fees. And when we do that, we plan on raising the conversation based on what we see with the usage of the Kelly pickleball courts as we monitor for 90 days of a non-resident rate. So if that discussion would be held in 90 days following the Kelly pickleball courts, and if a non-resident rate ended up being adopted or recommended for approval, really, then we would consider the same for tennis, and the item will come back to commission to have a discussion.
Great. Yeah, that item, you make some valid points, but it's not recognized on our agenda as, for people to be able to comment on that. But I think it'll come back to us 90 days after the pickleball courts open. So I'll make a motion that we recommend an increase to the tennis membership and reservation fees as noted in the staff report.
Second.
Amari, will you call the vote?
Voting is now open. Voting is now closed. Motion carried 4-1.
Thank you. All right, item 11, future agenda items. Lisa.
Okay, we have a presentation for this. Okay, so looking into our future agenda items, let's go to the next slide. So city council direction on new items to be reviewed by the commission, still to have on a discussion on is the pool. So on the commission's September agenda, we will have consideration of the creation of an aquatic subcommittee. And we will also have Beach Cities Health District here to provide an update on their pool and joint use possibilities. So that presentation will start us off so we can go into the conversation about the consideration of the aquatic subcommittee. So that's action pertaining to this item that the commission will be seeing at their September meeting. And then as far as looking into next month's meeting, it's going to be a big one. So bring snacks and water. No, it's going to be a big agenda for us because we have the consideration of commencement of long-term agreement negotiations. We have the review of the Hermosa Beach Lawn Bowling Club. We have the volleyball court use policy. So the subcommittees work on that coming forth in August. We do have a meeting scheduled at the end of this month to really finalize that draft to bring to the commission. And we have consideration of updates to the field reservation policy, park reservation policy, and the fees that pertain to both of those programs. And we have presentations as well, post-event presentations. So it's going to be a big meeting in us for August. And that concludes our future agenda items presentation.
I just have a quick question. Field reservation, is that for Clark Field? Just
Clark Field and Valley Park Field.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions for Lisa on our future agenda items? Okay, we will move on to the director's report. Back to you, Lisa.
All right, and we'll cue up the presentation. Okay, next slide. All right, so just a couple updates on the active CIPs pertaining to Parks and Recreation. Our community center gas line repair project is still underway. I don't have a firm update for you. The gas company needs to come back out for a specific matter to have formal completion of that project, but we don't need heat right now, so it's okay as of right now. And then for the Kelly Court renovations, so the contract is finally routing for signatures. The contractor selected was having trouble acquiring the appropriate insurance to meet the requirements in the agreement. So construction would finally start around July 15th, still with estimated completion date for late August, but I'm also going to throw out early September due to this delay with the contract itself. And that concludes my director's report.
Any questions for Lisa on her report?
Yeah, the RecTech go live.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did have more stuff on my director's report. I've skipped 2 slides. Yes, so we'll be sending a more complete update to the commission on that project. We are currently inputting everything into the system right now, all the fees, and figuring out how the membership program is going to operate and little tasks like that as we are getting everything inputted to the program, but still anticipate having our go live date in August with the fall winter brochure activities all being put into the new system. So that's something that we're doing now as well. So it's really just inputting all of our department data into the program. And then we are updating directions as we see how the updates need to be made for our internal directions for staff utilizing the new program, because we have directions for every piece of ActiveNet, so now they can be simplified. But I'll be sending a more formal update to the commission via email about communication plans and as each program's going to be transitioned over fully.
Will that include communication plans for the public?
That's what I mean by communication plans, yes. Okay, so I can't believe I missed these 2 slides because it's Parks and Recreation Month, the month of July nationally. So as Commissioner Chair Horowitz mentioned, we are going to have a picnic in the park with the mayor, and that will be July 25th at 12 p.m. at Valley Park. And it's going to be in celebration of Parks and Rec Month. So we'll have some activities, and community members will have a chance to talk to staff and the mayor about any city-related matters. And in addition, can we go to the next slide? We also have a Parks and Rec Month challenge that we have been posting through the city's communication channels. So it's really just encouraging the community to go out and enjoy our recreation spaces and services and to share with us on Instagram as they're doing so. We also have a special visit from Sunny on one of the days at the park that's noted on the calendar. And yeah, so each day there's something we're encouraging the community to do to celebrate the month with us. And now that concludes the director's report.
Thank you. I do want to circle back real quick. In your upcoming director's reports as months go on, will you provide updates to the drywall
I certainly
consultation
can,
and project?
yes. I will.
Thank you.
We'll add it to that CIP slide.
Okay.
Hopefully gas line repairs will be knocked off.
That would be
and we can
good.
replace it.
Okay, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Backing Tracy up on that, this is probably one of the biggest concerns that I have with this project is that I don't even know how many years ago it was. It became, unfortunately, a distrust that the residents, especially on the south side, had of the city for not communicating what the project was. And I can't thank Public Works enough for the announcement that went out to give us some warning that this could possibly be happening where. And this is one of those projects I think is extraordinarily important, that it is a true crossover between Public Works and Parks and Rec. So I am looking for a lot of information, and I'm hoping the city will keep that on the city website when we have more information. I'm hoping that in September we'll have the budget, the numbers for the Clark Building, and how our reservations are going, our successes and our failures.
Right. City Council asked us to return after a year with a full report on the usage, revenue, and any feedback on the policy and rates. So that actually is scheduled for the August City Council meeting.
Okay.
Council's direction didn't include going to the Parks Commission first, but that doesn't mean that we can't. So I can aim to get as much of that information on our August agenda.
Well, I know our August agenda is really packed. I just want to be sure that we know what we're doing and what we're doing well. And, if the reservations aren't working, then what are options, companies to call, different ways to advertise, whatever that is. But I do think it's been a year, and we spent, as the residents know, a lot of money, and we should easily be able to know at all times the reservations, what they look like. But again, where are we with all the money that's spent? So, thank you.
If we don't get it on the August agenda, we can come on the September agenda, and there might even be recommendations from the City Council on changes that need to be reviewed by the Commission as well.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, I'll thank you all for a good meeting, and I will adjourn to our next meeting, August 4th.